Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for Wednesday, the 4th of May, 2022, or, as they like to say, May the 4th be with you. I came back from break today and had a pretty darn fun day of streaming. Although, admittedly, the games that I played were not the most popular games, I still had an absolutely great time. So let's talk about what we did on stream today. First of all, on the pre-stream podcast, I had a pretty lengthy story about Phil's day off, meaning the segment about my day off yesterday from streaming, because actually my wife and I took some time to celebrate our wedding anniversary, even though it was 3 weeks after the fact, okay? After that story, I went into some news stories that were kind of interesting for today, answered some questions. It was a pretty good pre-stream podcast with a good variety of stuff, and I think you should check it out if you didn't have a chance, okay? Then, on the first stream, it was LEGO Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga continuing on, which made perfect sense to play it on May the 4th, because it's Star Wars Day. Made good progress. Ended up finishing up The Last Jedi, and started up the final movie, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I've never seen The Rise of Skywalker, the movie that is, so it was interesting to already seeing some crazy plot twists in the game right off the bat when it started. I was like, they kind of rewrote the whole plot of where they were going with that, didn't they? So, had a good time for sure on the stream, but it was so weird because the support at first was very slow. Then all of a sudden, by the end of the stream, a ton of super chats had come in, but tips were very low the entire stream. We didn't even hit the tier 1 tips goal, all right? So obviously, a lot of people were like, wow, May the 4th, people really weren't too hyped for Star Wars. I mean, the people who were there are usually the people who are always at the Star Wars streams. There looks like possibly one more stream to finish. It really is going to be determined by how long these final segments are for the Rise of Skywalker story-wise. We already beat the first one, so if they're kind of short, then likely we're going to beat LEGO Star Wars on the very next stream that I play it, okay? Am I ever going to go back and replay LEGO Star Wars to do all the collectathon stuff? Likely no. It seems like it's quite tedious, and although some of it might be interesting, a lot of it's going to be repetitive and boring, so I think once I beat the story, we're pretty much done, okay? Now, the late stream was the conclusion of I Am Fish. One final stage, all 4 fish needed to be used, using all their special abilities, the grabbing and pulling of the piranha, the inflation and bouncing and launching and jumping of the pufferfish, and of course, the flying abilities of the flying fish. So, this was a crazy stage. I am so happy I gave myself a whole night stream to do it. It took the whole stream. In fact, even though the final stage was quite entertaining, sadly, it is the most buggy. I was experiencing bugs where I was glitching through floors and getting either stuck or dying because of it, which is bullshit. There was a bug that happened to me where what was supposed to happen didn't happen. And what I mean by that is there was supposed to be a segment where I was supposed to be able to get through a door and keep the door open, but it wouldn't work. There was a malfunction that happened with the game that really screwed it up, and it made me very upset. Basically, the final stage is kind of wonky. There was a lot of issues with the final stage. It was still a great stage, and I really enjoyed it, but I was like, man, out of the entirety of the game, I wish they had put some more time into maybe working the bugs out and polishing the final stage, because it really was frustrating getting stuck. I actually sequence broke a puzzle, and then I couldn't figure out how to keep doing it because I had sequence broke it. So I had the wrong fish in the wrong places. You weren't supposed to have the fish in the place where I had them. Then I died, and it spawned the correct fish at the checkpoint, and I was like, okay, weird. But anyway, overall, I Am Fish was a great game, a great gameplay experience. My first time experiencing a game from that particular game dev studio who had also made I Am Bread and Surgeon Simulator. And I really enjoyed it. So we started off with one of the slowest streams of the year. I'm not even kidding. By the time an hour had passed, we had $6 in tips and $2 in super chats. That was the support I'd gotten on the first hour of I Am Fish. So I made a tweet about it, and by the end of the stream, we hit all the support goals. People came out and said, nah, that's kind of messed up, and they came and supported, and it was a great night because of it. We ended up finishing the game just in the nick of time, even though it was frustrating, and that's that. So if you were one of the people who came and supported the stream, thank you so very much. If you're someone watching the playthrough on YouTube, enjoy. You're going to see some rage as I get confused and sequence break and get all messed up with the bugs and everything. But we got it done, and it was a fun stream overall. So overall, even though LEGO was slow, We hit all the goals for I Am Fish, so it kind of evened out and ended up being a pretty good day overall. And I had fun, by the way, with all the gameplay today. It's just a shame that if I'm not playing like Elden Ring, right, I can't really get people to come and consistently support other games. At least at this point. It might just be a factor that these are slower games that are not meant for bigger mainstream audiences and things. You know, the indie games, I Am Fish is not appealing to the masses. Lego definitely never did the entire time I played the playthrough. Anyway, overall, I had a good day. Now, tomorrow is kind of a fun day. We're doing something different. There's a new game coming out. It's on Game Pass. It's called Trek to Yomi. It's a samurai game. I think it's supposed to be a combination of combat, puzzles, and challenging stuff. It's black and white, meaning it's supposed to be like an old-timey samurai film. I don't know how long it is, but it's actually a cheap game. It's only $18, so I'm assuming it's not a super lengthy game. Maybe a game that would be like 1 or 2 streams, and as long as I'm not effing up constantly, I'll probably beat it, right? I'm excited to try this out tomorrow on the main gameplay stream. I urge you to come by and check it out if you're interested in the game as well. If the game stinks, no pressure. It's Game Pass. I don't have to play it again. If it's not my cup of tea, if it's not a good game, if you guys don't like it, it's just a one-off experimentation stream, and I don't ever have to go back to it. So let's see what Trek to Yomi is all about on tomorrow's first stream. Tomorrow night, it is Skyrim After Hours. We continue on with the fun Dragonborn DLC. I had a lot of fun playing it earlier this week, and I can't wait to play it again. If you're fiending for more Elden Ring after the streams last weekend, me taking on Melania, and now in the final dungeon, like, where the hell is Elden Ring? Friday, we're going back to Elden Ring. It is the major stream. I'm hoping to make great progress. I don't know how much longer the game has. You know, I think this is the last dungeon. I'm sure there's a bunch of bosses coming up, but I don't know how challenging and how long it's going to take for me to get all through all this stuff. Remember, I am reviewing formally Elden Ring when I beat it, but I have to get to the point where I beat it before I can do that, okay? So Elden Ring and Street Fighter, actually. Old school Street Fighter fun. Friday Night Fights on Friday. This weekend is kind of open because I don't know how many more streams I'm going to need for Lego and Elden Ring to wrap up the playthroughs. So that I don't know if I can tell you if I'm reviewing it or not. You know what I'm saying? But I did make an announcement today that I want you all to know as well. Halo Infinite returns on Saturday night. I know I haven't played it in months. I absolutely loved it when I played it when it released in the fall through the winter. And I put it on hiatus because there was nothing new in the game for so long. Today, well, I guess last night, they released Season 2, which is supposed to be multiple new maps, a ton of rebalancing to the combat, new modes, all kinds of new stuff. People are playing the game again for the first time in a very long time. So I'm going to check it out on Saturday night and see if it's any good. Please join me on Saturday night to re-examine Halo Infinite for Season 2. If it ends up being fun, great. Maybe I'll put it back into the rotation regularly and we'll have some multiplayer back in there. But I don't know. I'm not sold on the fact that just because they tossed a couple maps and modes in there and they tweaked the gameplay a tiny bit that it's going to be much that different from what we were doing, and it might just end up being boring after another stream or two, okay? So let's see what happens. Thank you all. Great streaming day today. Obviously, I had a zany, silly time with I Am Fish. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you in the morning for Trek to Yomi. Peace out.